Hi, I'm Kathy Henry, and I am a licensed clinical social worker in the Indianapolis area, and I'm proud to work for Healing Hearts of Indy. Do you ever have a need and then immediately feel guilty for having it? Or perhaps you have a need and you know that it's reasonable to want it or need it, but you struggle asking for it to be met? Or maybe you have a need, but you hesitate asking for it to be met because you feel like you will owe someone something. All of this guilt or shame that is associated with our needs begins oftentimes in our childhoods, where we unintentionally get the message that our normal, healthy needs are not normal and healthy. We sometimes come away believing that our needs were bad because they caused someone else pain or discomfort. Think about the reactions that your parents or caregivers had to your normal, healthy needs, wants, and desires that you had as a child. Their reactions had to have shaped your attitudes and beliefs towards your own needs. For example, let's say you wanted to join a sports team at school. This would maybe cause some added stress to your family, understandably. It would mean that your parents might have to adjust their work schedule so that they can get you to and from your practices. They might have to coordinate with your siblings' practices and things like that. It might also put an additional strain on the family's finances because of whatever expenses involved in whatever activity you wanted to be involved in. This doesn't mean that your need was bad or that it wasn't normal and healthy, but it might have caused some discomfort or extra strain on your family. It's easy to walk away from that then, as a kid especially, feeling that your needs aren't normal and they're not healthy. Now, that's a mild example. What if the example was even worse? And instead of just having normal reactions to the added stress and inconvenience of you wanting whatever activity it was that you wanted, maybe your parents were not very mature and they instead shamed you for even wanting whatever it is that you wanted. Or maybe they made fun of you for wanting it. For example, they might have said something like, well, why do you want to spend the night with your friend? You just spent the night with your friend last weekend. It's not uncommon or abnormal for you to want to spend the night with your friend. They can say no, but if you're made fun of for wanting it or made to believe that it was you were asking for way too much for wanting it, that's another story. Because wanting it's one thing, being told, being regulated and told, that it's too much is another thing. Another thing that happens sometimes is that parents will blame you for putting an extra burden on the family, the extra expense or the extra activity, when they exclaim, I just drove you all around town today, and they're shaming you for that. Or worse yet, they might have used whatever it was and thrown it in your face later, expecting something back from you in return. Like, for example, you should do this, take out the trash or whatever, and because I drove you all around town today, or because I, cooked your dinner, or whatever it is. So that leads us then to be wary of asking for our needs to be met, because we learned that if someone meets our needs, then they're going to want something in return. Leads us then to always be contemplating what are we willing to ask for, and what are we willing to just do without, because we don't want to have to sit and calculate the cost or feel indebted to someone for it. So now bring those beliefs and attitudes that we got in our childhood about our normal healthy needs into our adult lives, and we're going to have a hard time in our relationships with our work peers, with our bosses, with our interpersonal relationships, obviously in a marriage or a significant other that you have. Everywhere that you go, you're going to have a hard time, because those beliefs and attitudes towards your own needs are then projected onto these people around you. So if we don't feel like our needs are worthy of being met, for example, without paying for it, or we don't even feel entitled to it. So what most of us do, and I joke about this, but is we kind of hand this burdensome problem over to our spouse on the altar. We say, here you go, honey. A, I don't even know what my needs are or how to get them met. Furthermore, B, I find myself unable to ask for my needs, which is especially hard given what I just told you in A, that I don't know what they are. And C, if you do give me what it is that I need, I'm going to have a hard time receiving it. But I'm handing this job over to you, spouse, with the expectation that you're going to figure it out and get my needs met for me. Good luck with that. So imagine that's the message that you're basically giving to your partner on the altar. And then we spend the next number of years being very disappointed and howling at our spouses because they aren't doing a very good job of meeting our needs. Logically, it sounds ridiculous, but in reality, this happens all the time, unfortunately. So how do we fix this conundrum? First, we have to get in touch with our own needs. We have to know what we need. We have to figure that out for ourselves. Secondly, we can't make our spouse guess something that we don't even know ourselves. So we have to be, thirdly, we have to be convinced that our needs and desires are normal and healthy. We can't feel a sense of entitlement to something that we don't even think that we should have. So I encourage you to run it through what I call the best friend filter. If your best friend said they wanted X, whatever that is, would you think it's reasonable for them to want that? And if so, then it's reasonable. Fourthly, you have to learn how to ask for your needs to be met. This means you're going to have to deal with your guilt and shame and fears and so forth. Giving in marriage is normal. It's a normal, healthy part of a relationship. In fact, most of us want to feel needed. So if you don't ask for your needs to be met, then you're actually robbing your partner of being able to fulfill their need to love you. So finally, you're going to have to learn how to let your walls down and receive love. And that is going to be uncomfortable. But how are you ever going to get the love that you want if you won't let anyone love you and help you meet your needs? I hope this has gotten you to thinking about your beliefs and attitudes towards your own needs and about how you go about getting those needs met. So if you need assistance with unpacking all of this stuff, the counselors at Healing Hearts will be happy to help you, and we'd be delighted to help you along in this journey. So thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.